Hey, there we go. Okay. So, yeah, Jim Newman suggested this, I don't know, probably years ago now, at least months, doing a tutorial just about like how to pull high quality images off the web. Because, there are things that you can kind of right click and save. And then there are things where the website's sort of fighting you, doesn't want you to grab, or gives you like a low quality image, but you can sort of find the higher res one. And there's tips for video as well. And I don't know how much I'll get into that. Maybe I'll give a quick demo with that WGN video. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of walk through some of the common things that I use when I'm going for high quality images off the web, and thought these would be useful tools, especially as we're investigating. People send you a clip or they send you an image, and sometimes you end up with this really small graphic when there's actually a larger one somewhere hidden in the background. So I've got some rough notes I'm going to work on. Let me share or I'm going to work from rather. Let me see if I can share part of my screen here. Okay, and let's grab, trying to grab just part of my screen so the resolution isn't too high. Okay, that should do. Okay, are you seeing, oh, you're probably seeing yourselves in this weird loop. Are you seeing now the website?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. I think we're working now. Okay. So I started with a common site that is pretty friendly when it comes to just letting you grab stuff, and that's Amazon. And I'm going to expand this again just a little bit. So if I come here and I see like this image of the book cover, we read this recently for the book club. It was great. And I say save image as, it lets me just save a JPEG. And let's see. And then I can just call this, dinner with King Tut thumbnail. Great, cool. I have the image. But if I mouse over it, you see, whoa, there's a much bigger image kind of hiding there somewhere. And if I go to like I want to like bring my mouse over to right click on that, well, it disappears. So if you click on it again, oh hey, there it is. That's what I was looking for. And Amazon is nice. This is really straightforward. You can just say, okay, let's save this as dinner with King Tut. And when I look at those two files, you could see here in the save dialog, it shows me the relative file size. The small one was 49 kilobytes. The large one was 311 kilobytes. And if I pull it open in, let's say like, Bridge and Photoshop, I can see the difference here. Okay, I got the good one versus the little one. I can blow that one away. Okay, so let's look at maybe a slightly less straightforward website. So here's Shot Deck. This is a like image reference website that we use at work. It's really popular there. It just lets you look through still frames from various films, and you can search for them and find them pretty easily. So I'm logged in here. Great research tool. I want this image of these guys carrying out this op. I don't know what film that is. Maybe someone else recognizes it. But if I right click, okay, gone is the save as. And if I take a screenshot of this, I'm going to get all of this junk that I don't want. This like search bar, this text. I just want this image hiding back here. Okay, so let's get into some of these tricks. Now, I'm sure you've all at some point seen the code for a website, and if I say view page source, I'm going to get this thing. Oh, cool! That's what the website actually looks like on the back end. And look at all that messy. It's based on HTML. Most of it is hypertext markup language. That's what HTML stands for. And I can see these tags. We started a div, and later on we end a div, and we could talk for a long time about all of that. I don't expect any of you to become HTML or web markup experts in the process of this, but there's a lot of things you can find if you sort of look in there. So I'm going to close that real quick, and I'm going to use a slightly different option. So here's a good place to go when you right click on an image and it's not giving you a save option. You can choose inspect. Now, I happen to be in Firefox right now as I'm giving this demo. It's just kind of my browser of choice, but all of these things apply equally well to Chrome and to lesser extents to like Edge. And there's other browsers, and some of these things will behave differently depending on which browser you're in. Sometimes they have specific code that Chrome recognizes, but Firefox doesn't. So I won't go into, I don't have any demos of that specifically. I'll just mention you might try a different browser. If something is resisting you, try a different browser. You might have better luck. There's another one called Opera that historically has always been a little more kind of pro-friendly. But let's use this tool for now, and just letting you know we're looking in Firefox. Okay, so I right clicked and I chose inspect, and it brought up this inspector interface, and they have this whole interface under. Let's see, it's under tools, browser tools, web developer tools. That was the shortcut to that, and that brings up all of these pieces that we're looking at. And I'll show you one later, but I'll just mention there's all these other tabs and ways to kind of analyze what the website is doing under the hood. It's pretty powerful and it gives you a lot of tools. But right here in the inspector, it's showing me that HTML. And if I right clicked from a specific area, it's going to try to jump me straight to it. And so already I can, if I hover over this code, you can see like as I hover over this div right here, it highlights a certain portion of the screen. And I can see, oh, that div is controlling that part of the screen. This one is controlling that little search bar. And if I come back high enough, I can see, okay, this div covers that whole area. And I can even see right here, it says div class equals image wrapper. So that's already telling me something. And there's this little arrow, and it's probably hard to see on the shared Zoom screen, but sometimes you have an arrow that's down, it's already expanded. And sometimes you have an arrow that's pointing to the right, and that means it can be expanded. So if I expand that, boom, already I'm seeing, look at this, there's an image. And if I hover over it, it already shows me a preview of that image, the one I want by itself. And then it gives me like, a URL where I can access the full thing. So here's a trick. If you find that, you can just right click and say, oh, and sorry, it's off my shared portion right now, but there's an option to say open link in new tab. And as soon as I do that, boom, I'm looking at that graphic, and I can even see here it says thumb small. Uh-oh, that's not what I want. I don't want the small thumb version. And I could try, what if I take out the thumb and the small? I actually haven't tried this before. So let's see. Oh, look at that. I just figured out their naming. Okay, that actually worked out really well.
That's really cool, Ross.
Yeah, so okay, this was a total shot in the dark, but I saw they had a subfolder called thumb and they had small underscore. When I tried taking those out, boom, I had the full res image. That was actually a little too easy. Sometimes you have to do a little more hunting. But now if I save this, I get, let's see, let's share it in my demo. We've got, military dudes, and I can save that for my project use. So let's go back to that code, and I'll just note there was also this link here to assets, images, stills, and it showed 1920 width. That tells me that's like the high res version. So I could come in here, so it starts with the backslash. I can put it after shotdeck.com. Boom, that would have taken me to the same result if I hadn't been able to figure out their naming nomenclature. Okay, so there we go. That's a quick intro to kind of how this works. Here's another example that we see every day, like Instagram. And I'll pick on my friend here from our recent wrap party for Zootopia 2. My apologies. Okay, so if I click on it, it doesn't do anything. If I right click, it doesn't do anything. But if I want a high resolution image from Instagram, or I just want to save it to my computer, and my apologies in advance to Tamara. Okay, let's see. I can. Okay, I did it. I did the right click. Sorry, I need to talk through what I'm doing. I did the right click, and what it did was it automatically highlighted the relevant div or element within. And again, I can move my mouse around, and I can see different things. Get highlighted as I hover over them. And I just kind of know how Instagram works. So you have all these expanded divs, and here's this one. I expanded that. Boom, I see an image link. Right click, open link in new, and boom, I've got a much higher resolution image than if I had, say, screenshotted that. And then I can say Tamara, Bree, and Missy to my demo folder here. So that's super handy all by itself, because I'm sure you all run into Instagram images all the time where you're like, I wish I could save it because how am I going to come back here? Okay, let's take a look at Pinterest. That's another site like this where I'm not logged in, and boy, does it harass me to log in. I can right click and say save, and it says join Pinterest, log in. It's giving me this little overlay. My right click only gives me these options. If I choose download, oh, it actually let me do it. Okay, well, that was easier than I thought. But let's see, let me come over and see how that looks. So here's the one we just saved. Okay, that actually worked out fine. But if it hadn't, we could have done the exact same trick, which is to right click, inspect, look through this code. Here's another tip. So sometimes, like, it didn't highlight anything useful for me, and I could kind of go through and find the right portion of the image. But there's also a search bar up here. You can just do a text search. So if I suspect it to be a JPEG, I can just type in .jpeg, and it will give me one of 26 results. Turns out the first one is that image. I right click, open link in new tab. Boom, I've got the high resolution image. Ta-da! And let's see if I save it to the same spot. It might even be a different size. Let's see, Deco Studio Large. And if I try that again, oh, they were the same size. Okay, so that other method worked okay, but we got backups. Hulu's another good example of a common thing that I'll see when I'm looking at images on the web. So let's say I've clicked on the secret lives of Mormon wives. I don't know why these women are allowed to still be called Mormons. There's nothing Mormon about them. I don't know if you've seen this show. It's ridiculous. But again, they want to protect their media, but it has to be there, right? So it still lives in your browser. It's just they want to make it difficult for you to get at. So if I inspect, it lets me find. Okay, that's controlling that. That's controlling that. Here we go. I'm onto something because this div is closed and it says class equals background. That sounds promising to me. I expand that and I see background base, background art, background gradient, highlight. Okay, art looks like the one that I wanted, so I expand that. Picture, yep, that sounds promising. Oh, here we go. We've got a bunch of stuff under here. And if I go for this image, you can even see in the preview, it shows me that it's 1811 by 1019. So that's certainly pretty high resolution. But I can also see something else here interesting that Hulu does. It has a responsive design where if I double click on this, it has multiple versions of the image all queued up, which means that if my browser is a certain size, if I'm on my phone, if I'm on my TV screen, whatever, it will serve a different image based on the one that's relevant. And the piece I'm looking for here is for each one of these, after the code, it says 1280 width, 1440 width, 1600 width, and 1920 width. Well, that's the one I want. I want the highest resolution. So I can just click in here, copy this bit of text, and I'm all about opening up new tabs and pasting things in. Let's try that. There we go. We got the highest resolution version of that artwork that was available. Ta-da. Let's see, what else did I have saved? Oh, here's a good one. Okay, let me try this. See if this works the way I'm expecting.
We should point out that div means division, so it's a division of the HTML code.
That's the what div is short for. Very good. Um, okay, so let's say I want this image from the most relaxing farm game, no install. I'm just inspired by it. Again, they're not giving me an option here on msn.com, so I go to inspect it, and let's see. Um, okay, let's see. Let me try moving up higher. Oh, there's the image. Okay, I'm gonna right click, open it in a new tab. So there it is, and it looks just like I was kind of expecting it to, but I'm looking at this code up top here. Okay, so here's something interesting. All this code that's here attached to the image, it's telling the image to do certain things, like this was what I wanted to point out. Width equals 612, height equals 304. So sometimes I'll just go in there and I'll just try like saying, well, what happens if I ask it for double that? So what if I say 1224 and 608 for the width and height? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This time it works. And voila, I could try, higher resolutions as well. But here's something else you can do. Like this isn't just a straight link to this image. It's like calling these other websites. It's got all this little excess code. But sometimes you can just remove a bunch of that and say, you know what, remove all these additional arguments, and it will give you the full version of the image. Let's see here. Okay, so I found the part where it says it ends in .jpeg. If I just like click to the right and remove everything to the right of .jpeg, oh, okay. In this case, I hit something where it has a little protection. It says we needed some of that additional code. But sometimes it'll work for you if you just strip away all those little modifiers that are changing the sharpening of the image or the width or the height or all these other little arguments that they give. Sometimes you can just get at the original one and it'll just be sitting there. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Here's another example. So here's a website that disables the right click altogether. So this guy has his or let's see. Okay, yeah, he's got his photography website, and I want to go right click to like save this image in the background. It won't even let me do that. I can't right click because they've disabled that. You'll find that very often. Well, that's where you can go to the tools menu and choose your browser tools, web developer tools. They're all still there. He just provided like a little barrier. And this is where you can maybe try typing .jpeg or .png, .webp. There's all these different formats out there. And if you kind of have those ready, you can look for them. But already I'm seeing my first JPEG image that I searched for. And sometimes you want to go through all 5 or 20 or 80 or whatever it is. But I can see the tag here is OG image. That already tells me, oh yeah, that's the one that he uploaded. And so if I come in here, I copy that, open up a new tab and paste. Oh, that's okay. That's something different. So that's his photography logo. Well, that's great. So let's keep searching for other JPEGs. Now we find this Twitter image. We find this featured image. Let's try that one. Oh, that's also the logo. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's keep looking. Ba-ba-ba-bum. All right, so this is where, you know what? I could keep analyzing this, but this is a good example here, actually. Sometimes you'll find an image and it's just got all of this extra code and they've added all kinds of stuff. And sure enough, you can go in here and find, oh, background image. Oh, here it is. Okay, that might be the one. I copy that and paste it. Hey, there we go. We found it. Okay, that's the actual image. Um, but you know what? I want to show another tool here. So let's pretend I didn't find that. We're going to go under network. This is a super handy tool that lets you just analyze what is the flow of items into and out of this website that our browser is receiving. Because sometimes this will catch things that are just not appearing in the code anywhere. They're like obliquely referenced. Either there's a JavaScript that's hiding them or it's pointing to some other site where the info is coming from. Anyway, so in this network tab, it's telling me to reload the page so it can freshly analyze it. And I've highlighted images and media. So that'll already filter it down. If I said all, I'd get all this extra stuff that I don't necessarily need. It's pulling in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, etc. But if I just narrow it down to images and media, here we go. It's helping me out. I see here's the transparent PNG background of his photography logo, and here's this PNG. Interesting. I think that's okay. That's just his photography logo. Oh, interesting. Okay, that wasn't as helpful as I thought it would be. So that is not a good example of what I wanted to give you an example of. Good thing we found the image through the search here. All right, I might find a better example of that in a moment. Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to demonstrate YouTube because it'll often have these little like handy thumbnails. Like maybe I want that picture of Dick Van Dyke, and if I go to right click on it, okay, it's not giving me the image, but YouTube actually has a very consistent formatting for the images for those thumbnails. So if I search for .jpeg, let's see if this helps me out. Okay, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So, oh, come on. Let me click in here. Okay. And where did it go? It was a very specific thing I was looking for called YT image, the YouTube image. Okay, let's see here. Let's find the next one. That's what I wanted. Oh, and then it gets hidden as soon as I double click on this. Sorry, I know it's here
Can you
somewhere.
search for YT image?
Yeah, well, that's what I did, but then it grabbed all this. So here's what I'll do. I'll just copy that
Blocker.
whole thing and
Yeah.
I'll paste it in a separate doc. And now I can't, yeah, look, all of that was hidden in that one section when I went to search for it. Holy moly. So now if I search in a text edit where I have a little more control, find, I can search for YT image because I happen to know that format. Here it is. So this is super powerful. If I have this, the HTTPS Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, if I have this saved, I can pull it up in any tab, paste it, and let's see what we got. Okay, we got Pam Bondi and the orange monster. Um, I can go in here and I can change this. Uh, First of all, let's say I see a different video, like I wanted Dick Van Dyke. So if I click on
Are
this,
you ready?
in the URL for any YouTube video, it will have youtube.com watch question mark. That means we're adding some additional arguments. V equals, this is a unique code for that video. And if I now come back to my thumbnail and I replace this little section of code that identifies that video with this one and hit enter, there we have Dick Van Dyke. So this is super powerful, but there's more. That's the HQ default. There's also 0.jpg, usually the same, but you can also put in, this will work 97% of the time. You can say max res default, and that will give you the full image that was used for the thumbnail. And then you can save it as, Dick Van Dyke max res default. So little tool. Then just keep that URL around and you can plug in the unique identifier code for any YouTube video, and et voila, you've got the thumbnail. And let's see here.
What about video, Ross? Can you, is there,
Yeah. Okay, so video gets trickier. Sometimes it is as simple as just a right click, and like sometimes they'll put it up on the site and they'll have the tools there. It's just linking straight to a video. There are so much protections around video. Well, I'll mention YouTube first. There are some, I have like a software application that I use called iTube Go, that I actually paid for, and it lets me just paste in a YouTube link and it'll give me the download automatically. So that's great. But you can also just do, and this works for Vimeo, this works for YouTube, and constantly there's this arms race between these video services and these various downloading services. But you can say download YouTube video and just come to this website. Oh, see, I'm using my work computer and they block some of these. Much easier on my home computer. But you can sometimes just go into these sites, paste the URL, it'll give you the link. But let's pull up that WGN video. I thought that would be a good example of something that I have to do sometimes. So here's an example where, and they've gone to a car commercial, but this was the video we were just watching. And so I thought I would check. Let's see if we can get it playing again. Here, I'm just going to refresh this whole thing. And sorry, we're going to have to watch this, probably play through another commercial. Okay. So we've got, well, while we're waiting for 27 seconds of this, I have pulled up this tab down here and I've got this network thing going. And I'm going to quickly hit the delete can just to clear it. And so hopefully it'll start loading new code as that video comes up. And I've told it, just show me images and media. I can even hide images. I don't care about images right now. I just want to see media. And this is a common tactic for video sharing sites. So, okay, as it's pulling it up, backstory, I see all these files starting to show up. What is this? Okay, interesting. It's this .ts file. And I see there was a 2.ts, 3.ts, 4.ts. These all stand for transport stream. And so what the site is doing in the background is it's breaking this image, this video, however large it may be, into these like 1 or 2 megabytes. I can see most of these are topping out around 1 megabyte. They're breaking them up into little 1 megabyte transport stream chunks. And I've already checked for this video. This will keep loading until it gets to 38. I've run into some that are like in the 500s, depending on the length of the video. So what I want to do is I want to save each and every one of these individual ones. And you think, well, you don't want to do that for 500 of them. So, all right, this is kind of advanced stuff here, I'll admit. But what I'll do is like I'll copy the URL of one of them and I'll bring it into, just a text editor and I'll come look at it. And this whole first part is telling me where this thing lives and the naming that it's used to break it up. And so I'll treat these as separate elements. And I know it's always going to start at 0.ts and then it's going to expand upwards. So I will take this portion and I will copy it into an Excel spreadsheet and I'll paste that. Okay, great. And then I'll put in a 0 because I know that's the first one. And then I'll come back to my text editor and I'll grab everything from the period onward, copy that, and I'll paste it into the third column. And then if I hold down shift on the 0, I can expand it. I think it's shift. Is that right? No. Let's see here. Let's try. Wait. No, that's just getting more zeros. Shift. Thought it was control. I'll find it. Hold on. No. Well, I swear there's a way in Excel to choose an option on that and have it number up so that it automatically will fill in the 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5, up to 512 or whatever it is I need. And then what I do is I copy all of those and I feed them into a program called JDownloader, and it lets me just put in all of those URLs and it'll put them all in the same folder for me. I throw them in a video editor, stack them together, and export the full video. So that's the hard way when they don't make it easy for you or give you a download tool. But there's also brute force methods to this. So if I really wanted to, I could just have this fill up the full screen, and I could use a tool like OBS, Open Broadcasting System. This is one worth pointing out. OBS, Open Broadcaster Software, that's it. That'll let you just record your screen all together with the sound input. So that can sometimes be an easy way, just like put the video full screen, record it, and then grab it later. That's kind of the brute force method. Let's see if I had any other notes. Hopefully that's a lot of good basics for you. Any questions about any of that?
Is there going to be a quiz?
Yeah, if you want a quiz, I can make a quiz.
Could you repeat the part after and I'll listen carefully?
Yeah, you're right. Anyways, those are some tools, and I'm kind of known around work as like Ross can get anything. Just if you need something and you need it today, hit Ross up and he'll find it somehow.
Just like many other things, it's a learning curve. You have to be willing to work at it.
Big time. Yeah, and this comes from years of experience.
Can you grab that WGN video?
I will. I'll send it to you. Yeah,
please do. Yeah, Jim R.
Yeah. Yes. I saw shot 3 parallel lines CK. Is that how do I get to the inspect tab? That you clicked on everything to do all of that.
Yeah. So that was under Firefox. It was under Tools and Browser Tools, and then there's an option called Web Developer Tools.
So if you don't have Firefox, you can't do any of that stuff.
Oh yeah, you can do that. And in fact, hold on, let me share Chrome real quickly and say, okay, I'll share that screen. So if I'm in Chrome, Chrome definitely has all the same tools. So I could go to msn.com. And yeah, most of the time I was just right-clicking and saying inspect. But if I right-click, see, look, this browser actually lets me save image as, whereas Firefox did not. But it has the same exact option here. It's just right-click and say inspect. That's a shortcut. Or if you're on the Mac, as I happen to be at the moment, it's Apple Shift I will bring up that interface in Firefox, or Control Shift I on the PC. And then, yeah, you've got access to the code. You can look at it. You can search through it. You can just kind of get a feel for how it's structured. But there's all these really fun tools sort of baked in that let you sort of see when you have something, your mouse over it, it'll show you the corresponding element on the web page. And that's really helpful over just looking at the text. Anyways, yeah, I hope that was helpful.
That was excellent.
Yeah,
and
that's
it-
really cool.
and thank you for putting that together. So my natural next question would be, of all that information that is hidden and available through various means, will any of that, in your opinion, uh, be able to help us distinguish between an AI image and a
100%. And one very crucial way you can do it is, in fact, let me share the screen again real quick.
While you're sharing, are there
Yeah.
copyright issues here?
Oh, I mean, copyright issues abound, of course, for all of these things. There's usually a reason they're putting up a bit of a flak shield to keep you from grabbing these items. So, of course, yeah, be aware of the actual copyright holders for anything. But we've talked about tineye.com before. It's a reverse image search that will let you pull in an image. So I can go to the demo here and I can grab like the Dinner with King Tut. Let's grab that low resolution thumbnail. If I go into TinEye and I load that, it'll give me a lot of other sites that have that same image, and it'll also show me resolution. So I can see various sizes. So this one here is 1100 by 1100, and I'm excited, like, oh, that's pretty good. But then I see, ooh, 1671 by 2600, that's better. So if I then click on that, that brings up, hey, super high resolution. That's great. So tools like this, TinEye, or another good one is just images.google.com. When you go to search on Google, you can also click on this little images icon. You can drag in an image. It will show you similar images. And again, let's upload a file. Let's say I want to look for that Dick Van Dyke image, and it will try to find something similar for me. And maybe like it recognizes its little AI thing says, oh, that's Dick Van Dyke. It recognizes the YouTube video and it might find other similar images. This is super helpful if you suspect something is AI edited. If you look for the original image, you might find that, oh, this shows the guy holding a gun. But if I search, I find 100 other instances of this image and he's holding a carrot, then that will tell you, the gun one is probably the modified one just by Occam's razor. There's also another really good image search, and I wonder if my work computer will block this one, yandex.com, and it has its own images search. And it's a Russian website, but they actually have a really good search option. So let me try dragging an image here. Let's pull in our friend Dick Van Dyke. And again, we get a lot more suggested images. So I'm not getting any super like right on the nose results with that. But those are three good tools: TinEye, Google Images search, and the Yandex search. And so for AI related stuff, it's best then to have that original version of the image, the best one that you can get. Do the search against that and see if you can find that it's been modified from another original. But of course, AI is a whole other ball game, beyond what Photoshop can do. It can just completely invent stuff, but it can at least get you started.
What about that though? Like just completely invented things. Is there any way to determine this is a real elephant or this is an AI elephant? I mean,
yeah. And in fact, actually, there was a great recent video. Well, hold on, let me look this up real quick with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was talking about doctored images, and there's a tool that will let you that will kind of analyze AI generated content and kind of give you a likelihood that it was generated. Let me see how quickly I can find this.
You have to use AI to figure out AI, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it really is an arms race now. Let's see if I can find this. Oh, okay. So
Lately,
actually,
I've been
well, it's 18 minutes long, so I was going to say this would be great just to show in general to this group, but I'll just mention this recent video from Neil deGrasse Tyson Star Talk channel. It's called "It's Getting Harder to Know What's Real," and they talk about these issues. He shows an example of himself being very convincingly deepfaked. In fact, this is it. Here we go.
doing calculations, as well as looking back at old NASA footage and raw data from satellites hovering above Earth. And I just can't escape the conclusion that the Earth might actually be flat. That's not me. It was never me. Those aren't my words. That's what's called a deep fake.
And this is a really good coverage of this problem. But he talks to this researcher who brings up this tool for looking at AI images, and it gives kind of like a rating on how likely it is to be modified. And I was hoping to quickly find it in the thumbnail, but I'll share the link to this in the chat so you can all take a look at that later because it's super insightful. So I would say, there are tools like that that allow you to look for goodness, just inconsistencies, things that don't pass the sniff test. You have to look closely at an AI image and still like they're so good now. Sometimes you just can't catch it. But sometimes you'll look at something and be like, that's not logical. That transition didn't make sense. So keep an eye out.
Hey, Ross, on something like that deep fake of Neil deGrasse Tyson, do they accomplish that by taking a real image of him and then somehow modifying it, or do they literally build it from scratch within AI?
So if you were to do a video like that, you would have had it just digest all of Neil deGrasse Tyson's content. You would just say, "Hey, look at, all 500 videos on this channel, and now having watched those, generate him saying this text." And,
So
it,
it's literally it learns from the real, but it actually generates from scratch from as a bullshit image thing, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I think the GPT stands for, the P stands for like pre-trained. There we go. That's what it's all about. It's just like, a human takes in information and then we learn how to speak and, how to recognize things. That's what the computer is doing. It's just it absorbs so much info and now it knows when you give it a prompt, you want something that looks like this, and it gives you what it thinks that should look like and does a pretty damn good job.
Ross, are there any AIs that we could have access to that we could do that too? Because if we wanted to counter something that we suspected was AI, the best way to do it is by simulating it ourselves as well.
Well, hey, guess what? If you've got, all right, I like this expanding demo. This is good. Okay, let me share this. So this is, our IIG accounts. If you have an IIG account, look, there's this little Gemini button here. And Gemini is Google's built-in AI. So you've got a lot of competing tools right now. You've got ChatGPT, you've got Claude, you've got oh goodness, a whole Copilot from Microsoft. So you probably have access to one or another, but it's easy to set up an account. But right here, built into Google, you have Gemini. So I can say, show me an image of investigators from the CFIIG hiking up the Hollywood Hills. Investigators from the CFIIG all wearing blue shirts hiking up the Hollywood Hills. And I think this will do it for me. So it's like it's already built into our account. And let's see how long it takes it. Oh my goodness. And it gave me that already. And look, they have like a very close to our logo CFIIG on their shirts.
Except it's not us.
It's not, yeah. So it didn't actually find us, but the amount it was able to hallucinate just from that prompt. It's looked on the web. It knows what CFIIG kind of is and what the logo kind of looks like. But yeah, it wasn't smart enough to actually put Jim's face on there, or Spencer's, or mine, or Karen's, or anybody else's. But still, it's a little frightening, right?
But can you
What
add
if
to
Aren't
it
they
and,
twins?
and
Yeah.
relearn it?
What if you add to the prompt a couple
Yeah.
people's names?
Yeah, you could say, let's see. So
Give specific names.
regenerate that image, but include Jim Underdown as the lead hiker and place him in the foreground.
Now we get to see how many Jim Underdowns are on the internet.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'm still learning and can't help with that. Do you need help with anything else? Okay. Well, sometimes
That's how famous I am right there.
sometimes it's magic, and sometimes it needs some more prompting. But of course, yeah, you play around with the prompts and you get different results.
Can
Ross,
we,
I noticed that it looked like they were twins. A couple
Yeah.
of them.
It does a lot of that. Yep, where it puts in the same person multiple times, and that's one of the thankful still telltales where you can be like, it looks like AI generated.
What was the other one like? Too many fingers or something? Or
yeah, they'd have a lot of them with 6 fingers or 3 fingers. It was, yeah.
The tough thing is it's gotten better at that. So yeah, that was true. That was true 6 months ago. You could still look for extra fingers, and you might find them now, but they've kind of trained all of these popular models, like Imogen that runs underneath Gemini, and it'll get you the right number of fingers.
Hey, can we put it together a deep fake of Sylvia Brown saying how great the CFIIG is and that we're always
Probably not hard to do. There's a lot of her.
do we really want her endorsement?
Wouldn't it be awesome though?
Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. So trust you all to use these for good and not evil.
No, let's have Albert Einstein.
There you go. Well, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, that
great
was really
job.
great.
Yeah.
Thank
That
you
was
very
cool,
much,
Ross.
That was really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, just